Get what you really want with the all-new Ford Everest Active 4x4. Value-packed with 12-inch touchscreen, black exterior styling and 18-inch alloys. All from just $60K drive away. Get the Everest Active at participating Ford dealers. Get what you really want with the all-new Ford Ranger Wolftrack V6. Featuring bold styling, 17-inch alloys and all-terrain tyres. All from just $73K drive away. Ranger Wolftrack at participating Ford dealers while stocks last.
Hey everyone, I'm Tom O'Neill Thorne. Tune in this weekend as the Rollers take on the world.
Get what you really want with the value-packed Ford Ranger Black Edition 4x4 with bedliner, 12-inch touchscreen, 17-inch alloys and all-terrain tyres. All from just $53K drive away. Get the Ranger Black Edition at participating Ford dealers.
up everyone, Jalen Brown here. I'm currently over in Turkey for the 25-26 Turkish League. I'm excited to get back and kick off this new era of wheelchair basketball with you all. The 2026 season is going to be something special. Make sure you're following along here for updates while I'm overseas.
Wheelchair basketball emerged shortly after World War II after it was developed by injured servicemen. It became a foundation Paralympic sport at the 1960 Games and is now one of the world's most recognisable wheelchair sports. Athletes who play wheelchair basketball have a physical impairment. All players use a wheelchair to compete, although some don't use a wheelchair in everyday life. The court dimensions and basket height for wheelchair basketball are the same as the able-bodied version of the sport, as is the playing time and number of players on court. Wheelchair basketball classifications range between 1 and 4.5 points. Players with a classification of 1.0 have the highest level of impairment, while players in the 4.5 point class have the highest level of physical function to be eligible for the sport. The wheelchairs used during a game are specially designed to support players and help them move around the court. During a match, the classifications of the 5 players on the court are added together and must reach a total of no more than 14 points. The object of the game is to score the most points in the opposing team's basket. The team with the most points by the time the clock expires wins. Wheelchair basketball is a contact sport. The sport is so fast that it can be difficult for athletes to stop in time, meaning contact is inevitable and can result in some spectacular collisions. While contact is permitted and even encouraged, head-on collisions are strictly forbidden and can result in fouls or even ejection from the game. For more information on wheelchair basketball, visit paralympic.org.au.
Get what you really want with the new look Ford Ranger Wild Track. With its power roller shutter, stunning matrix LEDs and premium B&O 10-speaker sound system. And you'll also get a 4K fuel card. That's 4K to take you on even bigger adventures. Available at your participating Ford dealer now.
Welcome, wherever you're watching around the world. It's semi-final day here in Canberra at the Australian Institute of Sport Centre of Excellence. The Rollers against the World Challenge. Four of the pre-eminent teams in men's wheelchair basketball have been duking it out for the last 3 days. They've each played 6 games, played each other twice. And on this fourth day, a Monday afternoon as it is in Canberra on the east coast of Australia, it's semi-final time. The first semi-final features Japan and Spain. Japan having almost run the table through their 6 games, and coincidentally the only game they lost was to Japan on the Friday earlier in the week, 52-50. So we see the lineups there. My name is Brendan Parnell and I'm joined by Campbell Fraser, a man vastly more experienced in the intricacies of wheelchair basketball, having played and coached the sport at an elite level. Campbell, looking at the Japanese lineup there today, what do you anticipate after almost 3 days of preparation? We now get down to money time.
Yeah, it's a really interesting thing, the way the Japanese lineup looks and how they've utilized their lineup in various games. They've really shown the depth of their bench and their ability to really change up the way that they play. One of the stats that I was looking at that I think is really interesting is that none of their players are averaging more than 10 points a game, but all of them are averaging quite high points below that. And that's it becomes a difficult thing for the Spanish to respond to when they know that they've got so many threats to respond to, and the substitutions come quite quickly for the Japanese, and they like to do wholesale changes of their team quite often. And the Spanish tend to rely on a couple more players more strictly, and potentially that will be the way forward for the Japanese to try and run that pace and get a little bit of higher out of them. But also we know that the Spanish in the past couple of games have gotten a little bit risky with their foul count, and potentially going to the line for the Japanese could be a way forward.
Right, as we see the teams going through the final stages of their warm-up, our referees in the foreground there of the picture, Blaine Kraplanov, Alan Rosenberg, and Josh McWatters. Campbell, these teams did play twice during the past 3 days, and probably Japan getting the better of Spain 52-50 back on Friday. But in yesterday morning's game, the Spanish won 70-60, but really it's the first time we've seen Japan come off the rails a little bit.
Yeah, the Japanese in that game, they look, I mean, the scoreline and the stats that we saw, if you just looked at that, you wouldn't really see what happened in that game. The Japanese looked very uncomfortable in the way that they played. They didn't quite work with each other quite as well. They had a few turnovers just by miscommunications and bad passes that really isn't something that the Japanese are known for. They're known to be very disciplined and very strict in the way that they play. And I think the Spanish, they very much play the opposite of that. The Spanish like to play fun, they like to play fast, and potentially that was just getting under the skin of the Japanese, and Japanese just getting a little bit ahead of themselves. So I think that will have been the discussion overnight, is very much, we're not engaging in the way that they play. If they want to play chaotic and get fouls, that's their problem. We're going to stick to our guns.
Right. We have the starting lineups who'll be making their way onto the floor shortly. For the Japanese playing in their red uniforms, it's Koki Maruyama, Rin Kawahara, Ryuga Akashi, Yoshinobu Takamatsu, one of the quickest players in the entire tournament, and Hirakai Kozai. Well, for the Spanish team, a different starting lineup today, and head coach Carrion has been happy to rotate his lineups, obviously looking at different players ahead of any selection for the upcoming World Championships in Canada in September. It'll be Manuel Lorenzo, Ignacio Ortega, Pablo Zazuela, Biel Cabo, and one of the lower point players, Pablo Lavandera. So we see the final mini huddles, big huddles, mini huddles between the starting 5 for the Japanese team. This is one of 2 semi-finals today. We'll see Italy take on the host Australian rollers straight after this. With a third place game and a notional gold medal game tomorrow. No gold medals on offer at this tournament or challenge, which is just simply an opportunity for these 4 teams that have already qualified for the World Championships in September to have a look at lineups, go through their paces and get some quality gameplay. So it's Japan in the red uniforms. They'll be moving from right to left on your picture in the first quarter. Spain in the white with the gold trim and numbers. Ball's up and we're underway. Spain with the first possession. It's Cabo. Bit of a double stack. Lavandiera ducks inside, able to get that pass and starts the scoring. Kozai for Japan, a late change in their starting lineup. Takashi. Kozai shots off. Zarzuela the rebound. Cabo with the ball handling duties. Probes down the left-hand side. Finds Lavandera. Can't quite get a handle on that one. Ball skips around. Looking for Ortega there. Couldn't get him. Kozai with the outlet pass. Iron Man Akashi. Mariuma. Leans into some contact. No call. Kozai. Finds Takamatsu. And it's an offensive foul. Just unable to pull himself up there, Campbell.
Yeah, I think the pace just getting a little bit ahead of him there, and knowing that he had to get rid of that pass, and really just not able to make that decision early enough. And the Spanish defense really shutting down that fast break. They did extremely well to recover. We know the Japanese probably have some of the fastest, if not the fastest, at the tournament on their team. So really well shut down.
Ortega inside. Lavandera's shot won't go. Yes, I think the speed is definitely something they've got. We talked yesterday about, I think they'd be gold, silver and bronze if there was a transition full court sprint. Ortega left way too open there. Nails that shot. He's one of their primary offensive forces. Has had a 40-point game in this tournament already. Kozai feints at the 3, skips the pass across. Mariuma's shot is off. Lorenzo the rebound. Spain's leading scorer in the European Championships, which they went undefeated on their way to the title. Ortega drives baseline, skips a hook pass, it's off. Kozai, Akashi, Japan looking to break again. Kozai. Spanish back in numbers. Kozai wheels around. Picked up by Lavandera. Mariuma. Akashi goes baseline. Finds Takamatsu. That foul assessed as being just before the shot. It'll be Japanese ball from the baseline.
There was a really smart little play by the Japanese on the defensive side just before. Kozai forcing Ortega to the baseline, knowing that he doesn't have the ability to contest that height, but he can't shoot from the baseline. And really forcing the Spanish into uncomfortable positions, utilizing a skill that they have in their speed, knowing that they can't fight that height.
Terrible turnover from Japan on the baseline, out of bounds play. Cabo wheels around, gets the pass from Lorenzo. Layup. Early timeout for the Japanese. Having trouble the scorers yet. It's Spain 6, Japan 0.
Yeah, the Japanese just looking a little bit, not even uncomfortable, but just not finding their shots. And I think this is one of my pet peeves. The choice to take threes and take early shots when the shot clock is coming down, instead of really utilizing that time and trying to find that inside shot, They've kind of opted to have quick plays and then allowing the Spanish to kind of move down pretty comfortably. The Japanese have set up their defense incredibly strongly, but we know that the Spanish have those outside shots. Ortega's been automatic from pretty much anywhere he needs to be across this tournament. So I suspect their defense might move into a bit more of a press and kind of push them really far out rather than kind of collapsing into that box. And their offensive side seems to be a little more calm.
Just observing the Japanese time out there, something we've seen a few times during the tournament. Vastly experienced coach Koyoya happy to take a back seat, let the players discuss what was going on amongst themselves. Kozai with the ball for Japan now, finds Akashi. Kicks across, Marioma, back to Akashi, back to Kozai. Drives middle, cut off by Cabo. Skip pass, Akashi. That's a nice piece of offense there. Spanish break the backcourt pressure. Ortega left alone, left way too alone. Really, it's almost like the Japanese have forgotten the scouting report. Ortega, a man that has to be guarded.
And again, the Japanese did bring in that pressure. They did try and bring that backcourt pressure, but it potentially just wasn't on the right players. I think they've got to get that two-man lockup on Ortega. They're going to look for something to transition their defense. Obviously, we know they have others that will pressure inside. Zazuela's been very effective inside, but Ortega really is the one to stop.
Marioma shuts off. Here come the Spanish again. Ortega wheeling across. Some contact on the far side of the floor. Lorenzo out of his chair. Foul on Marioma. Just Marioma's first personal foul. Officials just checking about the shot clock. Showing 14 here at the venue. Referee Rosenberg coming over and taking a second off it. Let's hope there's not too big a delay for 1 second. Spanish coach carry on. Always loves a chat. He's involved. Ortega's asking for the ball. He wants to get things underway. Japanese bench calm. They seem indifferent about what's happening. Anyway, we're back underway. Ortega with the ball. He's left wide open again. This is remarkable. He goes boom from three. It's like Japan don't know what singlet he's wearing. Kozai now with the ball for Japan. Akashi bobbles it, but it gets a Spanish hand, yeah. If you're watching for the first time, we've seen 3 days of Ortega demonstrating he's one of the most efficient offensive players in the world game. And yet here he's being guarded like a man that's never shot the basketball. Akashi inbounds to Marioma, gets it back. Shot clock becoming an issue. Bench helping out. Akashi looks inside. Takamatsu, what a tough shot that was. Going backwards, a hand right in his face. But he made it. Spain, transition. Cabo. Nice pass inside. Zazuela dodges the defender and makes the layup.
You could hear a lot of yelling from the Spanish team as the Japanese shot went up, actually calling to go and telling the players to go for that transition, assuming that they were going to get the rebound. And I think that's really showing their energy and their style of play that they're looking to force here.
Zazuela, left hand, leaked out again. That's a decidedly unusual start from Japan. They find themselves down 10. Kozai, chance to restore some order. He does. Long mid-range shot. Cabo for Spain. Japan trying to put a little bit of backcourt pressure on. Mariuma ducks across. Buzzer goes off inadvertently in the background. We'll keep playing. Ortega again. People going underneath screens on him. Kashi tries to get there. Lavandera sneaks in. Draws some contact from Takamatsu. Very persistent with that buzzer on the bench. Trying to get the officials' attention. As we see maybe the antidote for Japan enter the floor. Ryo Fujimoto. He's in the veteran category age-wise now, but his skill set has not diminished. He's in 13, the long black sleeves. Just handing the ball back to the official there after Lavandera's first successful free throw. Spain, both those free throws good. Spain 16, Japan 6. Touch over 4 minutes remaining, first quarter, semi-final number 1. Rollers against the World Challenge from the AIS Centre of Excellence, Canberra, Australia. Middle of winter, Monday afternoon, but a public holiday across the country here in Australia. Cabo left alone. Again, he goes glass and converts again. Kashi looks across to Furusawa, who's come on. Akashi, little left-hand flip pass. Shots off. Zazuela. Hands off to Ortega, no look pass. Cabo says, I made one a minute ago, I can make that. He almost does. Furusawa. He'd be my choice for gold medalist in the length of court sprint. Blindingly quick. He throws a pass at Fujimoto's head. Turned it over again. Japan, that is. Zazuela held up by Akashi. Finds a cutting Ortega. Fujimoto gives him a whack. And then gives him a hand slap as well. Significant Campbell there. Fujimoto just with the hand signal to calm down after he committed that foul, looking at his teammates.
Yeah, I think that's the standard that the Japanese really need to set, is they not really come out firing, and potentially that's happened a couple times in their games, and just wanting to keep settled. That's a big value that Fujimoto sets within the team, is that he really does keep calm, collected, and he really spearheads the kind of style that they choose to play and the mood that they choose to have. And that's one thing that we saw, we've already spoken about, that the Japanese, when they lose their calm and control, it doesn't happen often, but they really let go when that happens.
Ortega makes 1 of 2 for Spain. They lead by 13. Under 3 minutes remaining, first quarter, semi-final number 1. Rollers against the World Challenge. Furusawa cuts middle. There's a little no-look left-hand bounce pass. Got a Spanish hand on the way through. Close line inbound. Furusawa flips back to Akashi. They got a Fujimoto on the post. Double teamed. Knocked away by Ortega, but it's inconsequential as the shot clock expired in the background. Ortega was well aware of that post-up opportunity Japan were looking at. Harbour. Picked up by Kawahara. Throws a looping hook pass. Fujimoto manages to deflect. Cabo in, gets it back. Ortega, shot clock an issue. 3, 2, they're aware of it. Get the shot off Lavandera. In the low point spot, getting that rebound. Fujimoto throws a long outlet pass that clangs off the back of one of the Spanish chairs. Straight back to Spain. Lorenzo, they probably caught a break there, although Zazuela zips in for the rebound. Back to Lorenzo. He expertly wheels around in his chair and makes another layup.
Again, the Japanese defense really just looking messy and kind of a little overcommitted, a little too fast-paced. And the Spanish recognizing that, reversing the ball a couple of times, and just really drawing the defense out of control.
Maybe that says it all. Fujimoto just clangs a wide open free throw line shot. Spain with the ball, a chance to build on this massive 15-point lead. First quarter. Lavandera says I'm wide open, but he finds Lorenzo inside. He banks it home. One team operating like a well-oiled machine, the other like a broken clock. Kashi, Fujimoto, Furusawa, looks at 3, has a look in, pops out. Chance for Spain to run this pretty much down. There's about a 7 or 8 second shot clock differential, game and shot clock. Ortega mishandles, caught in the corner. Think shot. And finds a cutting Lavandera. Even at his height, he manages to draw some contact. Couple of substitutions going on. Lavandera rolls up to the line. Make it the first. Second's good. Takashi inbound. Furusawa, he's the man for quick transition. They've got about 13, 12 seconds to operate now. Take the last shot of the quarter. Takashi, Fujimoto. Takashi, skip pass. Finds one inside. Shots deflected as time expires, and the Japanese really left lamenting their Spain outstanding. They lead 24-6 as we head to a quarter-time break.
Get what you really want with the new look Ford Ranger Wild Track. With its power roller shutter, stunning matrix LEDs, and premium B&O 10-speaker sound system. And you'll also get a 4K fuel card. That's 4K to take you on even bigger adventures. Available at your participating Ford dealer now.
What's up everyone, Jalen Brown here. I'm currently over in Turkey for the 25-26 Turkish League. I'm excited to get back and kick off this new era of wheelchair basketball with you all. The 2026 season is going to be something special. Make sure you're following along here for updates while I'm overseas.
Welcome back. Second quarter just underway here in Canberra. The AS Centre of Excellence, the Spanish having turned on an inferno in that first quarter. Japanese with very few answers. They've made a couple of substitutions. Furusawa flips inside. Ball's turned over again. Ortega for Japan. Murakami popped out of his chair there. The officials call a halt. Lavandera, back to Ortega. Furusawa is aware of the danger he poses. Gets up. Murakami comes, throws it away inside. Spanish compound their turnover by committing a foul.
And potentially this is the Japanese just looking a little bit stronger here, coming out of the quarter break. And potentially this the Spanish forgetting or just kind of losing track of how they were playing in the first quarter. We know that the Spanish have their highs and lows in these games. We've seen that kind of across all of their games. Is they have moments where they just look to slip away a little bit. It's always a question of whether the opposition can capitalize on that. And really the Japanese, when they're playing well, that's exactly what they like to do. They like to identify those weaknesses and really push them.
Murakami launches a three. Can't get that to go. Ortega just checking what he's got in front of him. Rolls down, throws a half-hook pass. Lavandera, he's just sneaking his way into the lane again. Akita for Japan. Didn't see any action. Goes the skyhook pass across the floor. Murakami cut off. Baseline. Shot clock becoming an issue. Murakami's going to have to launch something. He does and makes it. Garcia and Gelmo. And for Spain, lovely interchange of passing. Ortega caught that, passed it in one motion. Murakami. Japanese managed to jam a few Spanish defenders in the backcourt there. Kurosawa spies a lane. Tries to throw a no-look pass where a conventional one might have done the trick. Akashi shots off. Taiga, another rebound. Cut off by Murakami. Kurosawa now comes out to get him. Garcia and Gelmo. Whips the ball across. Vega. His first contribution to the scoring chart. Akita for Japan signals a 5 offensively. Kurosawa flips it across. Murakami uses the Akashi screen, comes back again. Akashi flips the screen, rolls, almost open, goes left-hand hook pass across the floor. Akita, left with a grenade, has to launch something. He shots off. Zazuela the rebound, Ortega the push on transition. It's an offensive foul. Zazuela looking a little bemused. It's assessed on him. Just his first foul. Nothing catastrophic for him yet.
And I really like this change-up for the Japanese defense, playing pretty much a line defense, quite decently above the three-point line, really forcing the Spanish to respond in a fast pace and try and break through that line rather than allowing them to come back and settle into an easy offense. The Japanese previously had run a bit of a box, and that was really not working with the Spanish outside shooting, and potentially just really trying to force those turnovers as the Spanish are looking just a little bit loose at the moment.
Lavandera with the foul for Spain there, just hanging on to Furusawa as he tried to get after that pass. Just the first for Lavandera. Furusawa snaps a pass, and it's a fantastic one back to Murakami, who nails the baseline shot. Akashi. Commits the foul.
I think he was a little bit surprised by that one coming in. He was holding a pretty strong line there, but with a little bit too much contact on the side, and that one will get called.
Ortega left alone for 3. You wince if you're a Japanese supporter every time that happens. Kurosawa, skip pass, but it's a little awry and just sails into the Japanese bench. I don't think he had eye contact with Murakami there before releasing that pass. A bit of a jam up in the far corner of the court. Ortega comes over to lend a hand, or at least to have a look at what the problem is. Doesn't seem to be helping. It's a wheel. Here comes the mechanic. Mechanics don't do very much mechanic stuff, do they, Campbell? Just handing the wheel to the player there.
I think it depends a lot on on what happens. I think yesterday we saw. I'm very curious that there was one knock to a chair that made the wheel almost wobble and looked like it might have actually been a broken axle, which is an intense, pretty hard break. So I'm curious what happened there, but it's often just valves popping on the wheels and just need to be pumped back up.
Okay, that was certainly a self-work pit stop as Vega strolls down the middle of a lane. Expertly disguises his shot, keeps the ball away from defenders with an underhand left-hand scoop. He then fouls a much bigger Murakami. fact, probably wasn't the smartest foul from Vega there. It was almost deliberate, but it's tipped the Spanish into the bonus. Japan will be thankful for any points they can score at the moment, especially once they can cherry pick from the free throw line. One of two, but Murakami gets the offensive rebound and makes it a three-point play effectively. Mariuma with that shot. Vega gets it back on the elbow. Contact identified before that shot was released by Vega. A foul on Mariuma.
I really like the way the Spanish are playing around both Vega and Lavandera. They're really getting a lot of undercuts and forcing the Japanese just to respond in a little bit of a difficult way. They have to pull away from the high point players that they really don't want to let be open.
And that was Mariuma's third foul. He was heading to the bench until he realised that the Spanish had already inbounded the ball. Anyway, Japan miss again. Zazuela having a look at what he could do. Two-man game there. Ball skips to Ortega. Shot fake. Makes it. Waits till he's whacked on the arm. He's really a professional scorer from all sorts of positions on the floor. One of his few errors for the game. Lavandera goes sailing off towards the crowd, trying to cover that one. Though the Japanese have been better in the second quarter, Spain's just continued to score. They lead by 20. Reminder, it's the first of two semi-finals you'll see today, and two playoff games tomorrow. I'm coming to you live and free on the Basketball Australia YouTube channel, coordinated by Wheelchair Basketball Australia. Akita drives, shot clock pressure. Urasawa got left with a grenade. Had to release it. It's never any fun, Campbell, is it, when the shot clock's expiring and the ball's in midair heading your way?
One of those situations where really you can't be blamed for missing that shot, but it feels like all of the pressure immediately goes to you. It's almost like a last second shot at the end of a quarter, where it's really not your fault if it goes or not, but everything rests on you at that point.
Garcia and Gilmo gave himself some space. Defenders just refused to come with him, and he nailed the three. Spanish foul again in transition. It's their almost crazy way to keep allowing the Japanese to with a scoring avenue, but the Japanese are going to call a timeout anyway. 3 minutes remaining, second quarter. It's pretty much still all Spain.
Yeah, the Spanish just looking a little too strong and a little too consistent for the Japanese at the moment. Japanese have had options to look inside and just haven't been able to convert, and also their outside shooting is just it's a product of the Spanish defense really forcing players to make decisions and really take their time making those decisions. The Japanese have had a couple plays now where they've really been forced to throw a shot just because the shot clock is running out, and I think the Spanish have really focused on that, really drawing out that time. Forcing the Japanese to really use up all of their time, and then the Spanish really transition quite fast and utilize their offense really effectively.
Yeah, we mentioned before the game about the beautiful spread of scoring the Japanese have enjoyed throughout this tournament. But today it's Spain, who've 39 points already, not yet at half time, and Ortega 8, Zarzuela 7, Lavandera 7, Vega 6. They've really spread things around, and their gigantic microwave, the world's biggest microwave, I'd argue, Alexia Ruiz has yet to even come onto the floor.
Yeah, potentially they're not even feeling like they need to put Ruiz on at the moment. He does come on as kind of that big that really sets more of a control around the way the Spanish play, and also really contests the Japanese defense. And potentially they're just not feeling that he needs to be tested just yet.
I've still got him down as a microwave scorer. He had 18 points in 15 minutes in one of the games earlier this week, but he certainly can do a bit of everything, as you say. Japan makes a couple of free throws, but down the other end, Zarzuela is on the end of a passing exchange, which sees another layup. Murakami can't get that to go. Transition 3. Zarzuela calmly gets the Spanish offense. Signals for Vega to come around behind him and take the handoff. He does. Garcia and Gelmo. Miyamoto is out of his chair for Japan. Gets a hand from Akita. Pops himself back up. Vega drives middle. Garcia Kies cuts along the baseline, doesn't get it. Instead it's Garcia and Gelmo. His shot's off. Furusawa. Back to Murakami. Gives a little head fake, drives. The shimmy. Back to Furusawa. Catch. Shot clock an issue. Murakami shots off. Zarzuela the rebound. He's content to poke the ball up the floor. His veteran presence realises this is not something Spain has to rush. Vega comes middle, skips back. Shots up and short. Furusawa, left alone, has to take that. It's a shot he's been able to make. He's done so already this quarter, but that one's off. Tick down, back and forth. Japan unable to make any inroads into this large Spanish lead. Sits at 23 at the moment. Inside the last minute, second quarter. Lavandera thinks shot. Now he thinks pass. Zarzuela inside. You can probably hear some buzzers going on from the background there on the other court. Murakami. Picked up by Garcia Kies. Wheels around. Akita's shot is off from 3. Spain can run this down, take the last shot of the half. Garcia Kies has it poked away. Just got a couple of clock problems with the clock you can see on the screen. You can take it from us. There's just 11 seconds for Spain to do something here. And they can take the last shot. Vega, ball skips. Shots up, it's off. And Spain did exactly that, a very professional and thorough performance. They lead Japan 43-17, would you believe, as we head to the halftime break.
Get what you really want with the all-new Ford Everest Active 4x4. Value-packed with 12-inch touchscreen, black exterior styling and 18-inch alloys. All from just $60,000 drive away. Get the Everest Active at participating Ford dealers.
I was really lucky to cross paths with wheelchair basketball when I was 15 years old. I fell in love with the sport.
I was doing horse riding and I wanted to play a team sport, and my mum came across wheelchair basketball and I just grew to love it. My muscles have grown stronger, so I'm able to do a lot more things now because of basketball. Yeah, it's just helped me a lot in life. I would love to play at the Brisbane 2032 Paralympics and represent the country.
I wasn't 21 until I made my first Australian team, so you've got plenty of time. The most important thing is that you just enjoy your basketball.
By rolling out the start line, we want to build a framework where anyone that wants to become involved in parasport can find and navigate their way through to the opportunity that's local, that suits their needs.
Parasport's the best. You meet people that are just like you.
Times can be really tough. You're going to have some really frustrating days. It's okay to ask for help, but I promise you things do get better, and Paralympic sport can play a huge role in that.
Have a go. When we move out of our comfort zone, we surprise ourselves.
Not in my wildest dreams did I imagine that direction my life has taken, and I'm extremely thankful for it.
Just try it. You'll just grow to love it, and you could probably play for your country.
Hey everyone, I'm Tom Thorne. Tune in this weekend as the Rollers take on the world.
Get what you really want with the all-new Ford Ranger Wolf Track V6, featuring bold styling, 17-inch alloys and all-terrain tyres, all from just $73,000 drive away. Ranger Wolf Track at participating Ford dealers while stocks last.
Welcome to this very special occasion, a celebration of the 2000 Australian Paralympic team.
It's so great just for everyone to come together and reminisce, and it's like a massive reunion.
To be here with everyone's just so special. It makes me almost cry with joy.
So wonderful to be back here after 25 years. So many people that got to share such unforgettable memories because it was the first time we had the Paralympic Games in Australia.
We all have a bond that can't be broken because we all experience something that is a part of our lives.
All of what we're here for, we have to develop the athletes, the kids with disabilities, to believe that they can achieve.
Sydney 2000 showed that the Paralympic Games can be as good as a host city chooses to make them. It filled stadiums, it filled arenas. It set the benchmark for the athlete experience.
Sydney 2000 changed everything. Let's just take the Paralympic movement to a place where it had never been before.
People with disabilities can, and I think Sydney said to us, we can.
Australia changed the face of Paralympic sport forever, and I couldn't be prouder.
My favourite memory from the Sydney 2000 Paralympic Games was actually carrying the torch into the stadium for the opening ceremony of the Games. Before I was about to carry the torch, there was going to be 2.2 billion television viewers.
The advice to the athletes is seize all the opportunity you have. The athletes that assembled here today are an example of the hard work and the legacy that can be left by a group that's come well before you. The best way that you can honour, respect and thank the past is to make sure you take care of the future by working hard and embracing every opportunity that you have at the moment.
What's up everyone, Jalen Brown here. I'm currently over in Turkey for the 25-26 Turkish League. I'm excited to get back and kick off this new era of wheelchair basketball with you all. The 2026 season is going to be something special. Make sure you're following along here for updates while I'm overseas.
Get what you really want with the value-packed Ford Ranger Black Edition 4x4 with bedliner, 12-inch touchscreen, 17-inch alloys and all-terrain tyres. All from just 53k drive away. Get the Ranger Black Edition at participating Ford dealers.
Wheelchair basketball emerged shortly after World War II after it was developed by injured servicemen. It became a foundation Paralympic sport at the 1960 Games and is now one of the world's most recognisable wheelchair sports. Athletes who play wheelchair basketball have a physical impairment. All players use a wheelchair to compete, although some don't use a wheelchair in everyday life. The court dimensions and basket height for wheelchair basketball are the same as the able-bodied version of the sport, as is the playing time and number of players on court. Wheelchair basketball classifications range between 1 and 4.5 points. Players with a classification of 1.0 have the highest level of impairment, while players in the 4.5 point class have the highest level of physical function to be eligible for the sport. The wheelchairs used during a game are specially designed to support players and help them move around the court. During a match, the classifications of the 5 players on the court are added together and must reach a total of no more than 14 points. The object of the game is to score the most points in the opposing team's basket. The team with the most points by the time the clock expires wins. Wheelchair basketball is a contact sport. The sport is so fast that it can be difficult for athletes to stop in time, meaning contact is inevitable and can result in some spectacular collisions. While contact is permitted and even encouraged, head-on collisions are strictly forbidden and can result in fouls or even ejection from the game. For more information on wheelchair basketball, visit paralympic.org.au.
Welcome back to the AIS Centre of Excellence for the second half of the first semi-final of the Rollers Against the World Challenge. It's been all Spain. They hold a commanding 26-point lead. Campbell, can you try and make some sense of the statistics as we have a look at some of the highlights from the first half?
Yeah, I think the first thing that you have to call out is just the shooting percentage for the Spanish. They're shooting 70% from inside the three, 1 from 2 outside the three, and a few free throws as well. And just being absolutely dominant on their offensive end, and the Japanese on their offensive end just looking a little bit lost, a little bit confused. They've had a couple passes that really haven't gone the way they would expect. A bit of miscommunication, and you can really hear it from the Spanish bench and also on court. They're really getting around kind of the mistakes that the Japanese are making, really pointing that out and getting the attitude kind of fired up. And I think that's the thing that they learnt in their last game, the Spanish, knowing that once you get under the skin of the Japanese, it's hard to do, but once you get there, they're very uncomfortable and they really struggle to find their way back in. They've had a few rotations that the Japanese have tried to put through just to get themselves comfortable, and at this stage it hasn't really worked.
Right, play underway, second half. The man with the ball on Rubio, who's started every game up to now in the tournament. We haven't seen him until now. That doesn't matter. Comes up shooting. Second touch of the half. hours or two, which is sort of symptomatic of the way Spain's been playing. They're just lights out at the moment. Ball forces inside. Takamatsu can't get it to go. Back shoots an air ball. Lorenzo for Spain. There's a lob pass which is picked off. Takamatsu with it eventually. Akashi. Shots off. Ortega with the rebound, hands it off to Juan Rubio. Contact there from Japan. In fact, ruled as unsportsmanlike. Consequently, Spain will have 2 free throws and get possession of the ball.
It was really that was a smart little offensive play from Ortega, knowing that there was contact coming into the side of him and really forcing straight through it, and not really forcing contact, but showing that there was contact quite hard against him on the side. He didn't have the ball. He was potentially driving for a layup, and I think that's why they considered unsportsmanlike, as it was really a shutdown play before anything had actually occurred.
That was just Kawahara's first foul for Japan. Not personal foul trouble for him, but only scoring trouble for his team. This Lorenzo goes glass. I beg your pardon, Garcia Kias. That time, height in the chair. Mariuma answers for Japan. They'll need much more of that. And Rubia running the point for Spain. Wheels down, cut off. Skips inside, exchange of passing. Ortega finishes. Kakashi. Shots off from Takamatsu. Been unable to string any sequence of scoring together thus far in the game. Garcia Kias, a left-hand pass fake and then decides to shoot it. That's off. Kozai for Japan. Those distinctive black sleeves, snaps a pass. Mariuma. The shot does everything but fall. Akashi, the offensive rebound, straight back to Kozai. Kozai can't get it to go. Takamatsu emerges from nowhere. Offensive rebound, put back. Got a technical foul for lifting. They're going to stroll or roll all the way down the other end.
It's a relatively uncommon call. We've seen it a couple times across this weekend, but the lifting call. For those unfamiliar with wheelchair basketball, players have to remain completely seated in their chairs, especially when going for rebounds and potentially as well as shooting. There is the opportunity to lift just a little bit off the back of the seat, and the referees have clearly been noting that across this weekend and have paid a lot of attention to it. There's been a couple calls, and it comes down to kind of strapping situation and how players are set in their chairs, and potentially just a little bit of that fight, really fighting for that rebound and overcommitting.
Kashi with the ball for Japan, back to Kozai. He's on the elbow to spot he's comfortable at, and he makes the shot. The technical foul just resulted in the 1 free throw. Technical foul on a player on the floor, on Rubia. Left pretty much unguarded, looks at 3, clangs well wide. Mikazuki gets the pass across. Layup's good. Mariuma there. Kristen pushing the ball for Spain. Gets it off, no look pass. Basket's waved away. Ortega's looking to make some circus plays at the moment. He looks completely comfortable. We're looking to challenge a man we'll see in the second of the semi-finals, Giretti, current holder of the Magician crown. Another foul. Kawahara. Obsessed with that one. And Rubia baseline, cut off. Garcia Kies. Oh, it was almost a fingertip, half pass, half bat across from Ortega. He's really having fun out there now. First free throws off for Kristen. He did a great job to get a hand on that half pass, half deflection from Ortega. Very deliberate deflection, but it was travelling at light speed. Akashi, Kozai. Uses the screen. And Mariuma. Mariuma comes again, skip pass, back across. Lovely dump inside. Kawahara just unable to reel that pass in. Great idea from Mikazuki. And they're going to see a timeout. Spain calling this timeout. Want to have a chat about things. We've seen their head coach Carry-On get a little excited during various games. He looks pretty calm at the moment, and why wouldn't he? His team leading by 29. A disparity in the scoring we haven't seen at any game thus far in the tournament.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a mess for the Japanese. They're really trying to make things work and picking good options and just not necessarily executing them that expertly or as well as we would necessarily expect them to in their previous games. Even that last play, that pass, it was a fantastic idea. That drop pass was almost perfect, but it was just a little bit offline, and that's I think that's been the calling card of the Japanese so far, is just the right idea, the right thoughts, the right plans, just not executing correctly or not really going their way, and the Spanish really responding in kind and finding exactly what they want, and they almost can't be stopped.
Yeah, you mentioned the passer fraction off, Campbell. I know you were saying before about a pass on a screen and roll situation like that, high pointer to low pointer. But generally, the range of where the low pointer wants the ball it's a very specific spot as he's cutting to the basket, and the accuracy is at a premium. On Rubia inside, touch pass to Ortega. Wow, they're just making it look too easy.
You have to think that touch pass is something that they've been training over this weekend. We've seen it get more and more in every game that they've played. That it's almost become their signature.
Mikazuki back to Akashi. Kozai looks at three, and he draws some contact. Kristen's not too happy. And he was right on top of Kozai there. So here we sit, Campbell, about halfway through the third quarter. Thankfully for Japan, this is a training exercise tournament, really a preparatory thing. What sort of things can they look to try and get out of the rest of the last 15 minutes of this game?
I think they've got to look at not necessarily how they're responding to Ortega, but really responding to what he is creating on court. He is clearly a shooting threat and a problem for the Japanese, but he's also drawing so much attention that players like Vega and on Rubio have really had their option to be pretty free and pretty open. And essentially, it's a question for the Japanese to look at how they're playing their defensive set a little bit slowly and a little bit uncontrolled, and really they need to be switched on a bit earlier. I think they would look towards more of a press situation that they really haven't run too much.
They catch a break there, Japan. Draw an offensive foul from Spain. A little bit of chair debris on the floor. Officials doing the clean-up crew. Acting as the clean-up crew. Ball's inbounded. Kozai exchanging a few words with Akashi. He kicks to Mikazuki. Kozai skips back to Akashi. He's wide open. Can't get it to go. Story of the day. Garcia Kies sees a lane there, throws another no-look pass. Lorenzo this time. We probably forget a little bit that Spain are the European champions, having gone through that event unbeaten. They've demonstrated right through this tournament the amazing depth they have. Garcia Kies drives middle. Sort of cut off, but sort of not. Mikazuki didn't quite get there to square up, and makes another layup. Japan want to have another chat about things. 58-24, 34-point gulf between the two.
Yeah, and as you were saying, the Spanish being the European champions, and really we saw in their first game against Japan, they really didn't look like that same team. It didn't necessarily look like the team that we're seeing now, and I think they had a little bit of a shock in that first game that they played, and they've really come back firing in every game that they've played. They've gotten more active, more intense, and I think one thing that they really paid attention to overnight, we saw yesterday in their games, they got a little bit reckless and a little bit chaotic on the Spanish side. They've really reined that in. They haven't really had issues with fouls. The Japanese are getting into a little bit of danger with that. And I think the Spanish have really utilized their time here, knowing that it's a training camp and training experience for further things to come later this year, but really treating it as the high quality that it is, and giving it the respect that it deserves and playing to that standard.
Yeah, as we saw the Spanish huddle there, Prieto doesn't look like he's going to play in this game. He's got his ski parker on. I still haven't seen Ruiz. There's just so many weapons on that Spanish bench. Anyway, Japan back with the ball. Kozai drives middle. Akashi sets the screen for him. Skip pass back to Kozai. Elbow. Back to Akashi. Drives baseline. Cut off by Kristen. Wheels around. Launches a bank shot. Can't get it to go. Mikazuki. Some great aggression there from Mikazuki to get that rebound and snap it to Kozai, who scores.
Yeah, that was a wild little pass to Kozai there. Actually opting for the low pass underneath the Spanish defenders.
Bit of a cross match of defenders there on transition. Ortega left with a massive height advantage. A simple lob pass left Mariuma with really nothing to do but just watch the layup. Kozai drives middle, back to Mariuma, nice pass inside. Mikazuki makes the shot, draws the foul.
It's getting a little bit late in the game for this, but the Japanese really showing signs of life, and in these past couple plays, they've looked much more like what they've played across the entire weekend. That energy, that size inside, and also just not giving up. I think we saw a couple plays where the Japanese looked like they were playing a little bit lax, especially on the defensive side. And I think they've come out firing.
Zarzuela with the ball for Spain now. He's picked up by Kawahara. And some more contact. It's deemed unsportsmanlike. Ortega felt the contact, launched something. He'll go to the free throw line. We have seen a spate of unsportsmanlike fouls over the last 3.5 days. Ortega takes the time to have a little joke with referee Rosenberg. She's always one for a chat as well. Outstanding official. On Rubio, about to inbound for Spain. Calls a play. Running a little double stack there. Ball goes to the man that's been almost unguardable. Ortega. Back to Rubio. Nice baseline. Mikazuki comes along with Kawahara. And Spain just seemed blissfully ignorant of the short shot clock there. Kozai. Mariuma, back to Kozai. There's a little head fake. Can't get past on Rubio. His one-on-one defence has been fantastic. All to stay in front of people shaking and baking. So we see a late lunge results in a shooting foul.
As we see the the Spanish bench just getting a little bit animated, a little bit questioning those calls. We've seen the Spanish coach get pretty animated in a couple games. I imagine those referees have gotten good at listening to what's being said, but sticking with their judgment.
Mariuma, the player, fouled. It did certainly look like there was some contact before the Mariuma had finished his shooting motion. He certainly released the ball, but was still compressing down. He makes one of two. Garcia Kias. Hands off to Rubio. He's wide open for three. It's been pretty reliable from there, not on this occasion. Ortega looking for the most creative pass that he can possibly throw. Mikazuki can't get the rebound, tumbles out of his chair. The officials will call a temporary halt. Ball will stay with Spain. Ortega gets the inbound pass back. Pink shot, a couple of fakes. Stands up, banks, and stands there for a second or two to admire his handiwork. I see that all the time. Kashi. It's across to Kozai. Unfortunately, it looks like Mikazuki's screen has been deemed illegal. Both teams in the bonus, but because that's an offensive foul, a team control foul, no free throws will result. Spain want to have a chat. They were having a chat. Coach Carry-On was almost involved in what was going on the floor there, but he decided he wants to have a team-only chat, so they can discuss things. Maybe looking, Campbell, at something they can run that they haven't run, a different style. They've really got this last quarter and a bit, just a minute and a half remaining to do whatever they like.
Yeah, the Spanish, this is absolutely not a bad thing, but they're always looking at the things that they can improve on, that they can work on, even at such an advantage as this. And I suspect there will have been one or two things that had been noted down that were questionable plays and potentially wouldn't be worth raising if it were closer. But now that they've got the freedom to kind of fix up a few things as they're playing, potentially those smaller things will be brought in. I think their defensive side is getting a little bit weaker, and the Japanese able to respond. But their offensive side, they've barely just slipped under 70% shooting. So they are absolutely showing their value and why they're the European champions.
Right, as Spain make their way back out. Reminder, both these teams will be in action tomorrow. The final games, a third place playoff and a game to decide the winner. It's very much at the moment, well, almost certain Japan will be in that third place game at the same time slot tomorrow. Zazuela gets the offensive rebound and put back just a little too tall there. Gashi. Fujimoto back on the floor, so it's pleasing to see for the last couple of minutes of this quarter, or the last minute. Takashi makes a shot. On Rubia for Spain. Kicks across, Ortega really just having his way. Skips back to Onrubia. He lines the seams up. Short. Takashi. Still giving it everything he's got. I don't call him Iron Man for nothing. Plays a stack of minutes and everything done at maximum tempo. Fujimoto for three. Clangs wide. And Rubia for Spain. Can run this really close. Garcia Kies. Here's the calls. Ortega rolls backwards. Fujimoto catches a bit of his arm.
I think that's unfortunate to clip a little bit of Ortega's arm. Fujimoto was actually doing extremely well to keep his chair a solid couple inches away from Ortega, and really utilizing that lean, but potentially that lean just being a little bit too hard to control, and looking to regain balance as he came back down. Just that little slap on the arm.
So difficult to know exactly when Ortega is going to release that shot. There's just a minuscule series of fakes. Takashi, the rebound. Mariuma with a chance for a half-court heave. Haven't seen one of those over the last 3.5 days, and we're not going to see one there. Thus, as we head to the three-quarter time break, it's Spain 66, Japan 31.
Get what you really want with the new look Ford Ranger Wild Track. With its power roller shutter, stunning matrix LEDs, and premium B&O 10-speaker sound system. And you'll also get a 4K fuel card. That's 4K to take you on even bigger adventures. Available at your participating Ford dealer now.
Hey everyone, I'm Tommy Neil Thorne. Tune in this weekend as the Rollers take on the world.
Welcome back to the AIS Centre of Excellence. Perfect timing. The fourth quarter about to start. The first of two semi-finals we'll see today. Afternoon, early evening time here in Canberra. And it's been all Spain. They'll start with the ball. They turn it over. And off and running. Mariuma, one of the three road... Well, it's probably more, but there's at least three road runners in their team. Showing his blinding speed there.
That's a really impressive layup there. To be able to shoot that cleanly and that softly with that much speed coming behind you, it's one of those unpredictable things.
Cabo back on the floor, makes the free throw line jumper. Between Mariuma Takamatsu and Furusawa, they have three of the fastest straight line players I've ever seen. Holding foul on Spain. No Spanish player in any real foul trouble. Certainly none of the ones on the floor at the moment. Fujimoto looks at three and nails it. Just a teaser of the sort of things he's capable of. Garcia and Gelmo back on the floor for Spain. Through Cabo. It finds its way out of the base. Shots off. Ruiz onto the floor. It was nice to see he and Fujimoto. Fujimoto goes for three again. Bit of a heat check, but why not at this stage of the game? Cabo. Must have thought about that shot off to Garcia and Gelmo. His shot's off. He manages to snabble the rebound away from Miyamoto. And off and rolling again. Akashi to Akita. His bank shots long. Ball pinballs around between three Spanish rebounders. Cabo. Akashi sort of half picks him up. Garcia and Jomo's wide open. The confusion in the Japanese defense there.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing that the Japanese defense has had a couple times where they've really jumped the wrong player, or potentially too many people have jumped to one player. And it's not usually those high point players that have been left alone. Usually been the lows that have copped a couple scores just cheating their way through under the basket. But the Spanish just really recognizing those free opportunities when they can find them.
Ruiz down into the paint, just barrels his way through. Another Spanish player hit the deck. Ruiz makes his way to the free throw line. That's where he's supposed to be. Poor old Garcia and Gelmo took a heavy tumble. Ruiz wasn't picking him up, he was just marching to the free throw line. Maybe he knew he was okay.
That's one thing of the Spanish side. They play hard, they play aggressive. They're used to a lot of that contact. And I think you'd know by their attitude and potentially even just their voice when something goes wrong.
Ruiz along with both. Slaps himself. Just an admonition of how did I miss that? Fujimoto. Oh, it's a beautiful left-hand skyhook. We needed that to go in, but unfortunately it wouldn't for Akashi. That was a sweeping shot from the floor on the way up. Beautiful pass from Fujimoto with a shot fake. Ball goes middle. Ruiz is down. Gets a hand slap while he's lying prostrate. Beg your pardon, Freudian slip there. Ruiz back in his chair, he'll strap himself in. Meanwhile, Japan calls a timeout. Coach Koyoya leading the huddle this time, although he's a very calm character. Always seems to be laser focus from all his players. It's amazing how much you can discern just watching timeouts and breaks in play and coaching sessions. This one may have got away from them, Japan. They're still, at the moment, the only team to beat Spain at this event. And beating Spain in itself is, as we saw in the European Championships, not something that happens very often. This elite level of men's wheelchair basketball. Everybody's back on the floor. Ball's inbounded. Garcia and Gelmo gets it back. Skips across on Rubia. Ruiz. Furusawa tries to get a hand up. Just not enough to deter the shot of Ruiz.
And that's exactly what we were talking about earlier, that Ruiz doesn't necessarily come on until they are looking to find those easy shots. Ortega has a very fluid and fast play style. He gets those shots up, but Ruiz just has something so calm about the way that he plays and the shot that he puts up. It's almost like they're steadying towards the end of this game, really hoping to end strong.
Garcia and Gelmo with the ball for Spain. Japanese defenders switch pretty effectively. Got a holding foul on Miyamoto. Zarzuela hands it back to Garcia and Gelmo. Can't roll yet. Kazuki. Ball inside. Flip back out. Zarzuela to Ruiz. Looking to operate. Dumps inside. Cabo. He was in there for an eternity. The official agrees. When I say in there, he was in the rectangle that indicates the keyway. 3 seconds, the maximum time any offensive player can spend in there. He was getting a little encouragement from the officials too to move on, but didn't do so. Murakami flips a pass across the floor. Akita. Ball finds its way back to Furusawa to Murakami. Lovely exchange of passing inside. It's the story of the day. Miyamoto can't make that layup. Spain off and running. Garcia and Gelmo. Cabo. This shot's contested. Akita the rebound. Murakami will look at that three, I think. That's just all oxygen. There's no things are going well when Spanish coach Carrion's just strolling up and down the sideline with his arms behind his back. I've seen that all over the past 3 days very often.
I imagine it's one of those things that either that's the best sign or the worst sign. And, I imagine when he goes quiet, it could be a death sentence, especially if in a training session. I do not envy those players.
Yeah, he's certainly a character. Furusawa now with the ball for Japan. Let's see if they can finish this fourth quarter. Murakami draws some contact. Just wheels his way off to the free throw line.
Coach Carry-On actually had a funny little exchange there, knowing that his player was absolutely in the wrong. He wasn't going to contest it, but he was looking at the shot and just looked down at his player with just a little bit of a glare, and that disappointment.
Murakami just the 5 points tonight, and well below his average at this tournament. Makes the second free throw. Certainly had a couple of games where he's really sparkled offensively. He's showed that he had a reasonably deep bag of tricks. Been unable to get it going tonight. It's probably just the way the game's gone.
Ruiz can't make that outside three, or outside two rather. Japanese will look to push it forward. They finally find a layup. Kurosaki manages to find that line. Spanish still obviously not too concerned, but looking to play it out and play strong. Finding Ruiz inside, easy. And Akita just jumping a little bit too high there, potentially leaving Ruiz alone for just a second too long. The Japanese will come back in. Look to answer at least something.
Kurosawa kicks it across to Murakami. Lavandera pokes it away expertly and then just leaps out straight away. He knows his role so well, Lavandera, low point player. Bit of contact, the officials are not going to help him out on this occasion. Tumbles out of his chair, just waiting for some assistance. Coach Carry-On. It's his favourite method of uprighting a player. I know it's not yours, Campbell.
It's certainly not the way that I get up. I'm a midpoint player, so I rely more on a chair in front of me, but it just looks so uncomfortable on your arms. It looks so uncomfortable on your shoulders, and these players, after several days of working pretty hard, the shoulders really take a beating. And, if it works, it works. I'm not going to judge, but it looks uncomfortable to me.
Yeah, I'd be worried about those AC joints, but anyway, it's been done. There's Furusaki in for the waning minutes. Finds a way to get himself on the scoreboard. Vega for Spain. The sting's gone out of this one a little bit, but just because Spain have been so good. Garcia and Gelmo's shots off. Kurosawa. Every time he moves across the floor gives us a hint of what's to come in his career. Murakami skips down. Kurosaki kicks out. Shots off. Shot clock expires in the background. Just a little under 2 minutes to go. The clock on the screen is just a little out of sync. The one at the venue. Vega with the ball. Gets to the free throw line. Ruiz. Set across. Garcia and Gelmo. Back to Vega. It's a play they've run, just that ball reverses. Almost bamboozled the Japanese defence over and over. And the initial pass has been able to get into the free throw line unguarded. Murakami drives baseline. Likes the look of that. Can't get it to go. Vega the rebound. It's a nice little in and away move on. Oh, lovely. No look pass. Zazuela. Ruiz, one of the players you knew was going to catch something like that.
You almost have to laugh no matter what side you're on. You almost have to just credit where credit is due. The passes have been absolutely elite from the Spanish in this game.
Yeah, they've been having a great time, as you should, playing such a wonderful sport as Furusawa. Nails a three. Time just about up here. Ruiz kicks back to Vega. Shot short. Murakami. Furusawa, you get to see that blinding speed. Nobody can stay with him. He makes the layup. Right, Ruiz, I thought he was going to run the point there for potentially this last possession for them. Vega kicks to Ruiz. To Vega. Garcia and Gelmo. Little head fake. Shakes the defender back to Vega. Shot short. Kita to the flash. Furusawa wheels around. Back to Kita, back to Furusawa. Would have been a great way to finish. Couldn't make it go. Nonetheless, it's been a Spanish masterclass here. Spain 80, Japan 46. The officials and players will shake hands. Campbell, you can't do anything but admire how good Spain were.
Yeah, absolutely. The Spanish were absolutely elite in almost everything that they did. They had a couple runs where maybe their defense was letting them down just the slightest bit, but really their offensive side just being absolutely dominant. They shot 60% in the end. For the most part of that game, that was above 70%. And unfortunately for the Japanese, I think if you watch that game back, and this is not to discredit the Spanish defense, but if you watch that game back and just cut the end of all of the Japanese shots, whether they went in or not, their offense looked fantastic. They just weren't able to get those shots to go. And the Japanese really, I suspect that will be one of the things that they work on over the coming time before the World Championships later this year, is just the ability to finish.
As we get a look at some of the raw numbers, Spain making 34 two-point shots. They dominated inside the keyway. Japan just 16. Spain a few more free throws, dominating the rebounding count as well. Their height was certainly an issue for the Japanese, 40 to 24. Turnovers about equal. But all not lost for the Japanese. They'll get a chance to come back tomorrow. They'll be playing in the third place game. Their opponent still to be determined in the next game between Australia and Italy. As we look at some of the highlights from that second half. So there we are, amazing touch passing.
That was the really the thing that the Spanish made absolutely clear, is their ability to work together. And they had a couple games yesterday where they didn't look as on the same page as each other, but really finding those touch passes that's almost impossible to pull off if you're not absolutely on the same page. Especially with lower point players, there were a couple touch passes that went to low point players who have a little bit less mobility. And as we've said before, those passes have to be dead on. And they absolutely were for the Spanish.
Yeah, Japan had a couple of moments, but mostly it was Spain. There we are, the highlight of the match. That left hand, he barely gathered that, and already the pass was on the way. Anyway, enough about what a great performance that was from Spain. We will head to a break. Reminder that coming up shortly, you'll be able to see on this very channel Australia playing Italy for the right to play Spain in tomorrow's finals. But for now, it's goodbye from me and goodbye from Campbell Fraser. We will see you shortly.
Get what you really want with the new look Ford Ranger Wild Track. With its power roller shutter, stunning matrix LEDs and premium B&O 10-speaker sound system. And you'll also get a 4K fuel card. That's 4K to take you on even bigger adventures. Available at your participating Ford dealer now.
What's up everyone, Jalen Brown here. I'm currently over in Turkey for the 25-26 Turkish League. I'm excited to get back and kick off this new era of wheelchair basketball with you all. The 2026 season is going to be something special. Make sure you're following along here for updates while I'm overseas.